focus on playoffs, but first things first, are we going to go to Bank again? That's the real question here. 2 maps so far today, and they've both been the same. But Bank and Villa are off the board. So no, the answer is we will see a new map this time around, and well, you've got everything on the board. Clubhouse will be the first ban, and then it'll jump to FaZe, back to Team 1, and then FaZe, and we'll have our decider. Could we have a Villa, possibly? Could we see Oregon?
I seriously doubt we'll see a Villa. We've been seeing a ban so consistently, especially in Latin America. It seems to be one of the regions that just no on the Villa. Solid no there. Same thing happens from time to time when these new maps come out.
Oh, well, Villa's duh.
Yeah.
I'm blind.
Villa was auto-banned, I guess. Bank and Villa were auto-banned. Oregon, the final ban, though. Consulate going to be where we actually end up playing.
I speak in well. I read in well as well, just in case you're curious, because I can't read the maps.
Are you literate, Parker?
I try to be.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to go to Consulate. So, Consulate, Team 1 versus FaZe. FaZe, typically quite comfortable on this map. We know that back at the Invitational, if we want to go all the way back, when the only difference they had in their roster was Gohan, now they have Yuna instead. Their map pool was 7 maps. They did not play Skyscraper, and they did not play Coastline. But everything else was well within their wheelhouse, which included Consulate. Does that matter? You don't know the maps, but we'll see what you think anyway.
Yeah, so, community vote. Your opinion. I'm guessing FaZe is going to be pretty in the driver's seat on that one. Yeah.
86% is as good of an advantage as you can take. Excellent job. We've seen that number trend up 72% for Ninjas in Pajamas in the first game. The community was right. 74% for Liquid, and only 10% draw, or 8% draw on that second matchup. They were wrong. And now we have a pretty lopsided number there for FaZe. Are we going to see it?
It's not that surprising, though. Team 1, like we talked about, has not been performing well as of late. FaZe, on the other hand, had 6 wins in a row.
Yeah.
So, does not blow me away that they managed to get an 86%, especially considering they are probably one of the most, popular teams in all of Latin America.
I mean, like I said, the math is there for Team 1 to still make playoffs. This is a huge match for them. But honestly, FaZe have just looked so good. Everything about them has looked better in this second half. They look more coordinated. They look sharpened. Every single player, with basically the exception of Yuna, who is oftentimes playing shields or playing the anchor and letting everybody else on FaZe seemingly kill everything. Everybody else on that team is stepping up in terms of frags, in terms of utility. It's worked out really, really well, and dare I say it, it's probably been the best that we've seen FaZe since the Invitational. We look all the way back, and FaZe was just bodying every team. En route to the quarterfinals, they end up facing off against EG, and they lose 2-1. It's unfortunate for them. Their possible road to the finals being cut short early. But is this a redemption tour and a revenge tour from them? First ban is going to be FaZe. They're going to take out Thermite.
Yeah, FaZe at the one against Evil Geniuses. That was such a weird match.
Well, it came down to basically Skyscraper being the third map, and neither EG nor FaZe played Skyscraper.
I know.
So they just kind of pugged it, and that was really all it came down to. And if you remember, the defense won every round, as they usually do. And then all it took was one attacking victory, which went to EG. So we're also going to see Lion get banned out. So for the first time since the first matchup, we're going to see Lion banned. Clash is going to be banned all day, every day. And are we going to see Echo? There we go. So 3 games, 3 Clash bans, 3 Echo bans. Not a lot of diversity here on the Defender bans so far.
Nor the attacker bans, really, if we're being honest. There was a little bit of a mix-up when we saw Habana banned on Bank, but not that shocking, nor that much of a change. We also saw Ying banned twice today. She won't be banned this time around. I mean, the operator bans honestly don't see a whole lot of diversity. Usually you'll see some pivots, but not so here. You just get their standard fare. Thermite being banned means that the basement is going to be a lot more viable, and because of that, T1 are going to go to the basement first, which makes a lot of sense. If you're going to ban an operator to play a site, then you'll probably want to play that site as much as possible, so you start on it.
Yeah, I mean, you have as good an opportunity as any to handicap the attackers. You might as well go for the one site where Thermite is basically a must here. Now, we have seen teams run Maverick, and we've also seen a couple teams forego using hard breachers here. Now, it was noted that on certain maps you can run a glass in anticipation that they're going to ban a hard breacher such as Thermite. And EG on this map just a couple weeks ago did not run a hard breacher when they attacked because they just went through the server side of things. They didn't need a hard breacher to work. They could just control yellow stairs, possibly keep control of spiral stairs, and then push in through the staff area. That was what they needed more than anything. Cut it off with smokes. You can use the disruption tools of a Zofia, which you see FaZe Clan has, possibly even a Dokkaebi, and make it work that way. So there is a possibility that there's a strategy in mind here for FaZe, but I would imagine that the Hibana, they're probably going to keep somebody at that garage no matter what, and Team 1 is going to forego garage control as well because they're not going to bother with a bandit nor a mute. That's interesting given that there's no Thermite on the board.
Yeah, you'd expect them to try and counter the Hibana wherever possible, but it seems that it's not going to be a huge focus for them. They're just going to say, hey, you can open up the wall, but you can't open it as much as you would if you had a Thermite. And because you can't open it that much, we don't really worry about it. We'll just play the little hole that you can open up, which makes sense. That's why Thermite is so important on the basement.
Yeah, and there you have it. You can already hear the garage being hit, and it's free real estate. There's nothing to stop the advance of FaZe.
But it's a shack, though. So, I mean, it's free, but look at how small it is. So
there's a pool in the back!
Yeah, but it's not really a pool. Somebody just dug a trench and filled it with water, Parker.
It's a better pool than I have.
Well, we don't have pools.
First kill. Astro's going to take out iBlacks, and for some reason, the Legion, I can't speak today at all. I have messed up so many words. But anyway, for some particular reason, the Legion is going to peek up yellow stairs and meet his fate at the hands of the Zofia. Now, very, very close, as Ion is now also going to take a fight. I don't know what it is, but he's going to win it. He'll prevail over Astro, who very routinely misses, or who very rarely misses. He's gone. Meanwhile, the smoke of GDN, gone. Playing by the white van. That's going to be Mav finding him. And now, Hugzord is going to peek, and Eunice says goodbye. You can hear the diffuser going down, so Moringa just needs to be guarded. He's going to slowly get his life ticked away as he gets zapped by the Maestro device, but it's going to be up to the fragging potential of that LMG, and it's going to be a lockout from FaZe here after diffuser goes down. T1 has no chance whatsoever. Moringa doing great work just trying to hunt down the 3 armor, and he will find it with the bearing 9. FaZe taking round number 1.
Solid attack strategy there. A really confusing lack of emphasis placed on that garage. I understand, okay, they don't have a Thermite, but you also have to pay attention to the garage if you want to defend the garage. There was a lot of roamers that were kind of doing their own thing on T1, and ultimately they were either not able to accomplish anything or were simply picked off with ease. So just an overall confusing setup from T1 and a pretty standard attack from FaZe. They opened the garage, they pushed in through the garage, they isolated the piano main lobby, and they collapsed on the site, allowing for a diffuse plant thanks to the smoke cover from Glass. Pretty standard fare, really. And well executed by FaZe. Now, top floor, the next site for T1. They are not going to try and defend the basement 2 in a row. Now, that's a little bit confusing to me, and here's why. If you're going to ban a Thermite, that ban is useful on 1 bomb site. That's the basement. I guess 2 if you count the newer one, but nobody plays that. So, based on what you're likely to play, Thermite ban useful 1 site, basement. And if you're going to dedicate an entire operator ban to 1 site, usually you want to lock that side out. That's how we saw Liquid play. They banned out Hibana on Bank because they wanted to defend the basement more. They lost their first attempt at the basement, but they kept going there. They won it the second time. And ultimately, they won it the third time. And because of that, they were able to draw the match. Their basement defense is doing some great work because of that Hibana ban. But now we see a ban essentially go to waste, considering T1 have decided to go top 4.
Yeah, very surprised there. I'm even more surprised they didn't bother. I touched on this right as the round started. I'm very surprised they didn't invest more in keeping that garage wall safe.
Yeah.
Because they looked like they were positioned to try and stop a garage push, but that was they didn't bother to actually stop the push on Garage at all. They didn't expend a bandit. They didn't run a mute. Maybe it's just that
they didn't even have anyone watching it.
They didn't have anybody watching it. They immediately lost control of Garage, and they found themselves, you know, in a position where they lost the smoke very early on from Mav, who's playing up top in Piano. They had very minimal coverage. You know, it was perplexing, to say the least. And now, on the windows, you've got two members of FaZe Clan doubled up. A grenade will sail in, even though there is a Jaeger on the board of iBlacks. The ADS not positioned to possibly catch the frag grenades. You'll hear them go off as Mav will not miss his second one. Eye on the Valkyrie goes down, playing inside of the kitchen, just next to Copier by admin office here, and that's an early frag for FaZe.
That's a great teamwork between Mav and Camera, able to clear the ADSs thanks to Camera's flashes, and then get the grenade thanks to Mav's great angle play. Now, FaZe with control of admin office, and they did it so within a reasonable amount of time. All they need to do now is start playing the angles from long desk, cut off that rotation, clamp down on the A site via the balcony and the doorway from Vista Stairs, and start their push. Yuna probably going to be the one to push those Vista Stairs. He has to be wary, of course, of anyone potentially flanking him, but he will have the smokes for cover.
And depending on where they put down those ADSs, there might be little in the way of stopping the smokes from going down. It might also empower Astro's play here as Panico inside a meeting hall looks towards the windows. He's got GDN backing him up as well. Panico takes some damage. It's an upside down repel play here, and I don't think Panico sees. Oh, what? A nice shot on the Moringa, and he'll drop the hatch. And both Mav and Yuna will try to take control here. Just waiting to see. Oh, for just a second, Yuna will miss the smoke. Panico felled a great shot from GDN, and man, Team 1 are not missing here at all. Diffuser is down over by Copier, and a great shot from iBlacks now as well. This is just great gunplay. Mav will have to fetch that Diffuser, but knows there could possibly be a sight trained at him. But he has the cover of smoke. He can get very aggressive here. Cameraman missing his shots. He's got the smoke playing at close range. Sees one. He's going to be a double up here from Connector. Both Mav and Cameraman getting their kills, but it's a glorified 1v1 as Mav is down. Shotgun out, and boom goes the dynamite. GDN with a beautiful double kill to finish off this round. He takes one to the chest. Game over. No chance from Cameraman, and Team 1 will equalize.
GDN just destroying his opponents in that round, and able to not only delay, but totally deny the FaZe push onto A. It all started, though, with the kill from Panico as he was dropping into the main lobby. He very narrowly hit that shot, and if he hadn't, then Moringa would have been able to continue applying pressure from the A balcony, would have been able to deny the rotation or any peeks from the smoke, and thus would have kept some of his teammates alive, allowing for an easy isolation of the A site and plant of the diffuser. But Panico did land his shot, and because of that, he enabled his teammates to continue landing theirs, and it just all cascaded out of control for FaZe. Great hold from Team 1. Now, finally going back to the basement, and we can see that clearly going to the top floor was the right call for T1 in that round. They have brought a mute, so they will be trying to contest the garage to an extent, though not actively. And because FaZe has a Thatcher, they're not even going to need to take piano control to continue opening up the garage the same way they did the previous attempt.
It's interesting that we see the first time that a Thatcher gets brought out here from FaZe, when in all reality, you know, they haven't relied on one so far. They've been keeping Astro, who used to be a Twitch, to be able to do some of that device destruction that both Twitch and Thatcher occupy. Astro's been rocking the Zofia quite regularly, not really showing a ton of role swaps.
It's possible
for him.
It's possible that the mute wasn't 6-picked into, and if he was just picked dry and they were given the information, then we'll bring the Thatcher to counter. I didn't see the 6-pick phase.
Interestingly enough, the Glaz was so instrumental on the last garage take. After the Hibana opened up the garage door, it was Yuna who just pushed right on through, and that was what ultimately kept a lot of the defenders very far off of the site, which was the double whammy there, because not only did they concede control of that garage early by not having a bandit or a mute, but then they were forced to play even farther back. So same pace is going to be set from FaZe as they managed to open up the garage within 30 seconds. Good timing from them on their end, but they won't still. Oh, no, Astro! So long, Panico, a really prime play here, and He just narrowly misses the second body that was upstairs, but he'll pick it up this time around. Astro, not a smart play overall. Great read from Panico, and that is a big priority pick for Team 1 in the first minute.
Speaking of overall, Ion somehow left to his own devices inside of Projector along with iBlacks, and they're going to be in a great position to flank these attackers whenever they please. I'm not sure what's going on with FaZe right now, but they didn't drone out the top floor or clear it, seemingly. The diffuser's being planted, though. C4 from above to attempt to deny it. Maybe shoot through the hole, but the diffuser goes down, and Mav will also get a kill. FaZe now, in a round that looked lost, back into the driver's seat because what's happening? The garage isn't being watched by T1 yet again. I do not know how they continue to make this mistake. Cameraman gets a kill, Yuna as well, and a second for Camera as he peeks towards yellow stairs. GDN in the 1 versus 4. Can he do it again? He's going to take out Mav, but he has so little time to disable that diffuser, and Cameraman will shut him down. A very confusing round from Team 1. They had good roamer positions, but they didn't watch the garage again.
You had mute of iBlacks, drops the hatch from upstairs in console cubby into piano. He C4s the floor. He has perfect opportunity to look through that C4 hole and catch the plant going down, but he misses it. And I don't know why he missed it. I don't know if there was pressure that was being put on him from FaZe. Very difficult to say, but it should have really been a good opportunity for him to get the planter mid-plant, and he just could not get it. And there was no real follow-up kill either. And then that was just FaZe just being able to beat Team 1 back as they tried to transition into dealing with that diffuser.
I think the timing was just a little bad with the C4 and piano. Maybe a couple seconds sooner, and we would have seen that be a denial, but it just wasn't enough. T1, they're going to go to the main lobby. Again, I have to say this, though. It's very scary that they're unable to win their basement defense, considering they spent their attacker ban on Thermite. That is effectively wasted for them, and it's going to help. It's going to help FaZe when they go to defense.
I mean, it really depends on whether Team 1 has a comfortable Thermite player who is not capable of playing Hibana.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
You know, a lot of Latin American teams, as we saw in the operator pick section at the very start of the broadcast, they bring both the hard breachers all the time as long as they're not banned.
Yeah.
So this is, you know, I would imagine that there's somebody on the team who is suitable for playing Hibana, but I mean, how much of that goes into Hibana's gadget usage? How much can they rely upon with a Thermite being banned?
I love that mirror window that we just saw from T1, looking through those holes all the way into the main lobby and the front entrance. It's going to be a lot of information while you don't even need to expose yourself. You can also peek it if you want to. Great setup from T1. Props to them for that. Yuna back onto the glass, so he'll be trying to do some damage through those smokes. There's that mirror window we were just talking about. Of course, it's very likely that FaZe are going to place emphasis on the top floor and try to clear it out to start things off. See Astro's already doing just that over by the admin side of things. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of a setup by admin office. Hugzord is playing the angles, but he doesn't have a mirror window of his own. One's in bathroom, the other one's by long desk. So because of that, Astro's just going to be able to walk his way into admin office. And the long desk mirror window is effectively neutralized now that Astro has this position. So the setup from T1, while interesting, ultimately confusing given what we're seeing right now. Mav also able to get the first kill onto Hugzord as he was attempting to fall back. So the roamer's top floor being locked out.
One of the stories about moving Yuna onto the team for FaZe was they didn't have Gohan there to frag with Astro anymore. So Yuna plays a purely support-based role most of the time. Mav has been getting his kills very effectively and has often been competing with either Astro or Cameraman to top frag. It's been a very good change for FaZe so far. And yeah, that Buck taking out the mirror, as you said, not just mirror going down, but also the neutralization of her mirror window. That's pretty damning for T1. But a good opportunity here for a flank as Panico very slowly creeps up Visa stairs. His teammate Ion will eliminate Astro as Astro had gotten a kill earlier on, but iBlacks gets downed, and there's Mav collecting the kill. Very low on HP. It's all up to Panico and Ion. No C4 for Panico as he's going to have to really try to scramble. Now with Ion going down, Una there doing coverage through the smoke, and once again it's a 1v4. You're going to catch cameraman looking the wrong way, but Diffuser goes down yet again for FaZe. They've been doing a great job of getting that Diffuser planted. Mav very low on HP, Moringa almost full HP, and Una full HP. Panico will have to scramble. He'll rotate, he sees the piano drop hatch, and he will lose the duel to Una, the Glaz, watching from below. The Guardian inside a piano, and FaZe will go up 3-1.
So, once more, Team 1 have great roamer positions, and they're not actually watching the objective. FaZe able to plant the diffuser with ease because they got 1 or 2 entries and just walked in and started planting. The last 2 defenders were above the bomb site, and unfortunately there were not enough pre-placed murder holes to allow for an easy denial of the diffuse plant. They had a really interesting setup, T1 that is, but they also had giant holes in their defense. The most notable one for me is that they chose to put a mirror window in bathroom facing piano instead of supporting their other mirror window from long desk facing into projector by placing it their second inside of admin office. If they had placed the cafeteria mirror window, they would have added an extra layer to their defense. And yes, I understand that FaZe would have droned it out, they would have cleared the ADS, and they would have naded the player inside of cafeteria as they did last time they were faced with that mirror. However, it's a layer that adds to the delay, and if you don't have that buffer, the mirror window you're placing at long desk is useless. So it's just a confusing setup from T1, too much emphasis placed on the top floor without fully defending the top floor, and the anchor play almost non-existent once more. That's the 3rd round now.
I mean, you're putting a lot on GDN, who was almost the hero of 2 rounds in particular. He did great upstairs on console office the first time they went there, but that was really it. And then he got in an unwinnable position on Garage. It took FaZe 1 minute to take care of that Mira, as you said, in the last round. 1 minute. And they had swept through admin, taken control of copier and staff area, and then they'd taken the Mira as well.
You know, the only round where Team 1 have had anchors that fight back is top floor. That's the only defense that Team 1 has actually had anchors that are getting kills.
I mean, there are a lot of teams who will say their testimonial will be that they don't like attacking that top floor.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. But my point is that Team 1, no matter what they're defending, are defending the top floor. If they're defending basement, they have 2 people on the top floor. If they're defending middle floor, they have 2 people on the top floor. If they're defending the top floor, then, oh, blessed be the site, they have 5 people on the top floor and they're actually anchoring. That's been the flaw for the Team 1 defense so far.
Are you preaching to me, Michael? Are you going to proselytize the word of the good
Lord
of the good anchor?
Of Lord Tachanka?
To Lord Tachanka?
The ultimate anchor, the one to defeat them all? Yeah, totally.
Blessed be he.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, a bit of a slower start this round for FaZe overall. It's the last round of the first half, so Team 1 will move on to attack after this and give FaZe Clan a kick at the can on defense and see how much that Thermite ban is going to affect Team 1, who very likely banned him to try and neutralize FaZe. Moringa in particular, usually playing that Thermite role or possibly even having Una on it. Cameraman's just going to sprint right in and take out Ion, and iBlax has also been down, so it's essentially a 5v3, even though Astro, Cameraman, and Una... Oh! Hello! Una, great play, a Twitch drone kill from Astro, who's reunited with one of his favorite operators, and it's Panico and GDN. Panico trying to go for a bullet pen kill here, and he sees one on drone. So long, Cameraman, a great read and good play. That's likely being aided by a Valkyrie camera provided from Ion from the grave. So things will get closer to an even contest, but still, it's just GDN and Panico. The smoke of GDN playing in Connector was such a force to be reckoned with that we saw, but he didn't really have to deal with an overwhelming amount of FaZe Clan that first time. This time around, well, he's got all but Cameraman available.
Setup right now from FaZe is excellent. Smokes go down, and the cover from Una will be easily established thanks to the Glaz. Astro gets one, and Mav gets the other, and FaZe take the round. So, that attack, well set up, I guess. I mean, all they really did was walk into the building following drones and get a bunch of kills.
Ion and iBlax, I really wish I could have seen what type of engagement they took with the Twitch there, getting the down and then getting the Twitch drone kill. And then, of course, Ion falling as well, if I recall correctly, very soon after from Cameraman. So ultimately, very, very swift from FaZe, setting a great tempo so far. Now, Consulate heading to defense here. No Thermite available. Echo and Clash gone. The fact that Mira is on the board is not as much of a factor on this map. A lot of teams don't opt for a Mira. Here you'll see FaZe will decide to forego a Mira. It's usually Cameraman who typically runs the Mira, at least from what we've seen on Consulate, but he's been playing a bit more of a flex role than he has necessarily been an anchor, and he's going to go with a flex role yet again. He's going to go from Valkyrie to Castle, and we're going to see a Ying come out from Hugzord. A good read, but that's only because a good read due to Valkyrie being gone. Keep in mind that if that Valkyrie had stayed on the board, IQ very strong here, especially with the way that Valkyrie will usually use those cameras as a nuisance outside. But it'll be lobby that we see for FaZe on their first defense. A castle strat will likely try to keep them alive upstairs, which is something that, as you pointed out, Team 1 not particularly strong on, was holding that second floor. Can a castle aid FaZe and possibly give them more than a minute's worth of breathing room up top before Team 1 rushes through and gets map control? Could that be a difference maker for FaZe?
I kind of find it interesting that they're bringing a castle instead of maybe an Echo. Echo could be really powerful here. Of course, he's banned out.
Banned.
What?
If he weren't banned.
Yeah, I just said that. Yeah, Echo would be really powerful if he could be played here. Unfortunately, he's banned out. What was I trying to say? Oh, no, I was actually trying to touch on a Valkyrie. I don't know why I got sidetracked. But yeah. I'm surprised there's no Valkyrie instead of... the castle's not really going to be as useful, in my opinion.
And especially with that IQ pick. They could have possibly seen the IQ and decided to swap off. That's one of the things that we can't really tell from 6-pick, is maybe FaZe sees that there's an IQ on the board and says, we better not run a Valkyrie. So let's pick to a castle where, you know, IQ's gadget doesn't work all that well. Because, you know, you can't detect castle barricades with her gadget. And then they switch off of the IQ to go with Ying. And it's a Blackbeard, a Glaz, and a Ying all together for Team 1. That is not fun to deal with, especially when all three of them are working in conjunction with one another. The bottom of Spiral Stairs, Cameraman just watching, looking, and there's nobody there to be found. So, first kill is going to be Hugzord, though, onto Moringa. Say goodbye to your smoke. That is a pretty brutal loss for FaZe. The first operator to go down smoke, obviously playing upstairs inside a meeting hall, or as it's often called, projector. That's where you're typically going to see smoke playing.
A very powerful position to deny the defuse plant. But he's not going to be able to now. Easy setup now for T1. They have all the tools they need to attack onto the main lobby. Smokes for cover, Yings for disruption, and easy plant.
Excellent play from Cameraman here. He'll catch one out. UMP, very low damage, but he'll manage to take out Ion. The Twitch off the board. Panico, amidst the clattering of the Candelas, will get a kill as the Glaz, and Diffuser goes down quite successfully from Team 1. Panico will execute yet another. Yuna being dispatched, and we're going to see another push in from the castle here, and oh! Panico will miss his first shot, but end up getting it the second time. Astro in a 1v4 sees the Ying upside down. Hugzord on Repel finishes it off, and that is a good round for Team 1. Just finding FaZe and killing them one by one by one there on lobby.
Great attack strategy. Very simple process. Once they got the smoke down, it was an easy push in. Smokes, Candelas, plant diffuser. We didn't actually get to see any of that, but it did happen, believe it or not. And that attack strategy doesn't leave a whole lot for the defenders since Echo is banned out. They needed someone else to deny the defuse plant other than the smoke. They didn't have anybody. And Maestro unable to really accomplish all that was necessary in that round.
I mean, they lost Moringa early on too. Smoke is going to be a pretty valuable asset to try and choke off the main doorway, even though Glaz is still going to be able to look through it. So that's difficult there. No 6-pick being utilized for FaZe for the time being. I liked what Team 1 brought. They're going to run with that same Blackbeard, Glaz, and Ying lineup that they ran last time around. Good killing potential, lots of ability to push FaZe back and then not be able to retake. And it's setting them up for a very good post plant. Those are three operators, or two in particular with the Glaz and the Blackbeard, who, if used in the right way, can make it very difficult for FaZe to be able to retake, especially when you look at Garage. If you open up a very small portion of the wall with the X-Kairos, and then you have the Glaz and the Blackbeard play very far back in a post-plant scenario, that's almost always a guaranteed win for the attackers in that scenario. So as long as Team 1 can get that diffuser down, which so far both teams have done an admirable job of doing in this matchup, that could make it very difficult for FaZe.
So, FaZe choosing to bring Amira here on the basement. Not the most useful operator, but still can get things done. The mute as well being brought. No bandit so far played by the defense on this basement hold, either side. That mute can delay for some amount of time. There is a Twitch, so there's the potential for those mute jammers being taken out, but not as easy as if you had a Thatcher.
I think we only saw, what, two instances of Thatcher so far, both of which on Una.
Only one that I recall.
We saw one, I think we saw one in Garage, and I think we saw one in the console office as well for FaZe's final push, because they Thatchered right as they had somebody pushing in through the window.
It's possible.
I think. But I mean, this is Team 1 running the exact same lineup as last time around, right? I mean, it's got good killing potential. Like I said, you've got a chance here to just lock it out in the post plant, making it very difficult for FaZe to retake. So, I mean, we'll see what all they can accomplish. It doesn't look like there's a mute jammer there that's going to stop GDN, at least for the time being. Hard to tell from our perspective. But I mean, he's not going to get the wall, so I'm suspecting that there's probably a jammer stopping it.
Yeah, it's Twitch's job to deal with it, but he doesn't seem to be keen on doing that anytime soon. So, slow going here. Just instead of that, watching the potential run out. Looks like they were maybe destroying some... Oh yeah, the mute jammers had been taken care of. They're just delaying opening the wall for some reason or another. They also destroyed some of their own Habana pellets, which is odd. I don't know why they did that. They will get kill with the Twitch run onto the mute jammer, so that's fantastic. And finally, the garage will be opened up.
They could have done that as just simply, oh, there you go. To allow Panico or the Blackbeard to look through it and not have to deal with as big of a hole. But I mean, it's still a risky gambit because you still have the opportunity to have somebody return fire on you through that, right? I mean, regardless of whether it's 1 X-Heros or 2.
Ultimately, it doesn't change anything, really. They opened up the topmost holes, which means it's not going to change anything with Blackbeard. And the angle being tighter isn't really going to mean anything. It doesn't work like arrow slits necessarily on a castle wall.
Yeah.
So, a little confusing, but it's done now. Una setting up a pre-aimed C4 through the drop down into Piano. It's an interesting one. Oh, possibly goes all the way to the basement?
Oh my goodness, is it going to go all the way? Does it connect? We don't see the C4 land, so Una might not have made it work. He's just going to go for killing as all of FaZe is stacked up on yellow stairs. It's a slaughter as Hugzord gets 2 big kills. Mav will get downed, and Hugzord is still there firing away. Una very low on HP. Iblax is down, and Hugzord will need to plant that diffuser. Just waiting, Una capitalizes, and the C4 will miss. We almost saw that C4 go all the way down, but no. Could have possibly just gone to blow. I think it just blew open this hole right here.
Could you imagine, though, if he pre-aimed and all the way to basement from yellow stairs C4?
Do you remember Mav doing the same thing upstairs? He was inside attic in Oregon, went through the floor all the way down to the default plant.
But I think I want to see that yellow stairs C4 now, because now we know it could be done. It's just I don't remember that exact one ever being done before.
You could see he was lining it up on the post too. He was like squaring himself to the post and then turned around. Oh, that could have been really something. But unfortunately, no fireworks there for us as a viewer, regardless of which team does it. FaZe, though, will move to match points, so they gain 1 point. They'll go up to 26, but they still haven't locked out the victory. And this is a big blow for Team 1, who, like we said, trying to get into the playoffs here. They can only get 1 point out of this engagement.
Yeah, and FaZe, no matter what, are comfortable, but I'm, at this point, fairly sure that they are going to be able to lock this out. The way they've been looking so far on both attack and defense has been extremely solid. T1 struggling with some of their strategies. In that last round, they almost made it work, but they were a little too focused on the garage. You could see that FaZe were tripling up on holding from yellow stairs to deny that push.
They were all there.
Yeah, everyone was on yellow stairs, and then Una fell off of yellow stairs and went back to the piano room to use the hole that he'd opened up to deny the defuse plant, ultimately.
Una going, see you guys, you all can die here. I'm going to head up top. Ultimately a wise choice overall, and I'd said before that Una wasn't necessarily in positions to get frags. We saw him playing a lot of shield play. Well, would you look at that? Yuna now up there competing with the rest of the team.
Yep, he's getting those frags. Now, top 4 defense we have yet to see from FaZe. They went middle floor, then bottom floor. And they were unsuccessful in the middle, successful on the bottom. We'll see what happens on top. Panico bringing that Glass. We've been seeing a lot of Glass and Ying from T1 since both were left unbanned. Very powerful operators in their own right, but haven't been utilized all that well from T1 so far. They did use both extremely well when attacking the middle floor on that main lobby. Aside from that, though, not a huge influence.
We didn't see the Blackbeard making too much noise either, and I think that's why he tends to. He's the one that draws, you know, that short straw, and then they'll go with the Sophia instead and the Ashe instead of a Twitch as well. I think you pointed it out correctly. The Twitch drone of Ion was too preoccupied flank watching and not really utilizing the drone to the best of its ability.
I think aside from that too, I mean, what I'm confused about is the lack of a Blackbeard here on a top floor attack. It's like, you know, it's going to be top floor, middle floor. That's where Blackbeard's useful. I'm saying all this. Kills are happening. FaZe has managed to get 2, but in exchange for their castle.
Yeah, they basically lost one castle. Cameraman was the cannon fodder in that position. He'd already lost half of his health in the first engagement when he took out iBlacks, and then Hugzord was able to assist Panico in getting the kill, but that was it. Essentially, then you traded the castle for the Ying, and that's not a trade that I would take if it were up to me.
Yeah, the Ying definitely a really powerful operator. You're going to need her on the actual site push. T1 have managed to wrangle control of admin office away from FaZe, but at what cost? As we talked about, it's quite expensive, and not only in operators, but also in time. Moringa's sitting inside of A, and he's going to be able to delay this push quite a lot with his gas canisters. And as Mav gets Panico just inside of Printer, this is looking like the end of the match. Astro peeking wide will take out Ion. GDN able to get a kill, but Moringa will finish him off. And FaZe take it 6-2.
28 points. FaZe just controlling Latin America for the time being. 5-4-5 since the second half, and undefeated with the addition of Yuna, and they just continue to look good. 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, 6-4, and 6-2. And like we said, they're going to be in Rio. They're the second team to join G2. Team 1, a bit of a disappointing result, and the opportunity to make the playoffs is slowly closing. And it's really going to hinge on what we see in our next matchup in Immortals